Hello, and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be making another junk robot, which I know I haven't done in quite a while actually. So first, the entire point of this video is I had a old Christmas bubble that I wanted to use as a base for a robot. Then I used these, they're like these caps from these like Japanese drinks. So I cut them up and like put them to be like, I don't know what you call it, like almost a neck collar kind of thing. I then grabbed the inner roll of like dog toilet like thingies, and then these are my favorite because they're like really sturdy pipes. So I glued this under the, like, again I'm gonna call it like a neck guard kind of thing for his neck, and then I grabbed this like big bolt with like a little plastic dome at the top and glued that in to be his head because I thought it was a nice shape that would go with, you know, other parts of the body. And yeah, I lost some footage. Oopsie. I really know what I'm doing, I swear. Then I cut up parts of a bubble and then glued them onto the shoulders that I made to even more incentivize the like bubbles that I've used. I then also grabbed another part of the cap from that same Japanese drink and glued it onto the base, like onto the bottom of the bubble. And then I grabbed these little plastic like screw things. I cut up the top, realized it was a little too long still, so I cut it again. Glued it in to the little lid thing, and then I glued this thing that I originally cut off onto the top. So you think I should just cut it the other way? That really would have been smarter, wouldn't it have? Didn't really think about that though. I then proceeded to do this 2 more times to make a grand total of 3 of these, like, I mean, I kind of explain what they are later, but they're devices to help this robot in its fictional universe to like float slightly off the ground rather than walking with legs. I then grabbed some fully spherical beads and glue these into the shoulders as, like, well, shoulder joints. I mean, that's what it'd be called, right? Shoulder. Yeah, anyway. Then I glued on some more toilet roll for the arm structures. I wanted it to be quite skinny compared to the body because I thought that'd be kind of a funnier, because I wanted this guy to look a little more derpy, if that makes sense. And then I also glued on the ends of both the arms ball joints as well for, that wouldn't be the shoulder, no, those, the elbow, those would be elbow joints. That's what those would be. And then I glued on the forearms with more of that toilet roll stuff. I then glued these other beads on the forearms, on the ends of them, kind of like slightly pushing them into it, and then took these old hands from an old plastic toy and put those into those beads for, well, I mean the hands, because I thought, again, the smaller the hands were compared to the like size of the robot, I thought it'd be kind of funny, and in the end it actually kind of looked good. Don't know how. I then cut up some pieces from an egg carton thing and then glued them onto the shoulders because I just wanted to, the arms looked a little flat, so I wanted to build up their like bulk, make them a little more bulky. Then I have literally zero idea what these are from. Zero idea what these are from. But I thought they just added quite a lot to the shoulders and like the arms, so I glued them on. Who knows, in the universe there's probably some sort of like piping or other mechanical component that helps the arms move. But I really have no idea what they're from. I just had them in my bits box. And then grab these other plastic bits that zero clue what they're for. Just trying to figure out where I want to use them. Realized whatever this little screw thing was in the way, so I trimmed those off on both of them. And then I end up gluing them onto the forearms because again, I needed to bulk those areas up a little. Thought they were a little bland, so I added them to the forearms. I then glued on a hook so I could actually make this into an actual bauble that can go on my tree. And at this stage, we were done with the build and on to painting. And I'm very excited I get to do something I haven't done in a while. Tell a story about this robot. So please enjoy. The Midwinter Festival. My favorite time of the year. The beautiful streets decorated from top to bottom with glowing lights that sparkle like the stars in the night sky. Snow covering rooftops and streetlights like warm coats. Every kid tucked into their bed waiting for St. Nikolai to come through their window and leave them all kinds of presents. I love the story of St. Nikolai and the joy it brings to the children when they wake up and see the presents they have gotten. Little do they know what actually happens on that night in the elevated empire. Every year, the night before midwinter, we send baubles units to every household in the empire to leave children gifts. Now how do we know what they want? Well, we are the elevated empire. We know everything about everyone. The bauble units were difficult to build and figure out how we can make them effective and as quiet as possible, not to spoil the surprise. We designed them with levitating capabilities with large electrical Teslas built into the bottom of the unit, allowing it to hover just slightly above the ground, meaning it is completely silent when entering homes. We're thinking about implementing this tech into some of our soldier units, but that's a story for another time. That's all for now. Merry Midwinter. Now I'm going to actually start explaining what I'm doing. I now grabbed some of my paint pens. I think I've used 3 Poscas and then this fabric marker. Yes, none of this is made of fabric, but it actually worked really, really well. I mean, it's still paint. It's still paint. But I used this cyany colored Posca to highlight all the green sections of the model. And I had this light sandy-ish color that I applied to all the beige-ish areas. I then decided to do the painstaking process of highlighting every single ridge on the bauble. Every single ridge. Every single one. And I didn't just stop with that color of red. I needed to be brighter, so I grabbed a pinky-ish red Posca pen and then applied that to every single ridge. Every single one. But I'm very happy with the result of it. So, on to the final reveal. Merry Christmas, and to all, a good night.